there, welcome back to the ABI Dirt. I'm Matt Metzger with ABI Attachments. You can see I've got a co-host today, Nate Smith, Director of Product Development and Engineering. Many of you may remember Nate from a couple of episodes when we visited him on his farm to take a look at his cattle paddock with the TR3. Nate's joining me today because we're getting back to basics. We've got questions all the time about different components on our attachments, and typically it's the components that move other components. Things like square jacks and electric actuators and hydraulic cylinders. So we wanted to take a couple of minutes today and talk through what each one of these components do, how they're the same, how they're different, and break them down a little bit for you. So here we go. So Nate, we've got a gambit of different components here in front of us. Where are we starting? What do you got first?
So a square jack or a screw jack is the kind of device that's like on the front of a trailer tongue. It's relatively simple. It's just a screw, and as I crank it, it gets longer or shorter to raise or lower something. So the simplest example is on a trailer tongue, but it also can be used anytime you have 2 points that you want to raise or lower. It just gets longer or shorter. This is manually operated, so it's very quick, very simple. There's some mechanical advantage many times in these. So that's a fancy term of saying it's easier to turn, so you don't feel all 400 pounds or 600 pounds of whatever you're hooked to. But it enables you to do work very quickly and simply, dial into a very precise height, a very precise adjustment, very quickly. The challenge is that you are gonna have to get off your tow vehicle to use it. Like, you can't really remotely reach back behind you and try to.
No passengers allowed, is that what you're telling me?
No passengers.
I can't have anybody riding on the rascal cranking up.
I can't have my 4-year-old ride around on the rascal cranking it. No.
ABI Attachments does not recommend that.
No, we do not support that in any way, shape, or form.
So for those of you who have, let's say, a gravel rascal or an arena rascal pro, you may have been in an experience where you get to the end of your pass and you got to get off your four-wheeler to go crank it up or crank it down. You gain in the strength and you gain in the simplicity, but hopping on and off a tow vehicle is not always the funnest thing to do. Now, Nate, I know that's kind of a 101 question here, but when it comes to an electric actuator, it's got to have electricity to it somehow. So if I were to say, I want to swap out a square jack, I'm with you, I'm like, all right, Nate, I don't want to get off my tow vehicle and crank the square jack, I want to use an actuator instead. Where does my power come from? Where's my electricity
come from? It comes from your tow vehicle, so therefore there's some wiring involved. The ATV or the UTV has to provide the power to it.
Got it.
So typically, what are these on? Like in our products, there'll be a rascal, or virtually any of our trailers will have one of these on the tongue. Our Workman XL dump trailer will have that to dump behind.
Got it.
These are even used for other manual adjustments too, on like the Speedmaster to raise grooming rods up and down. On our water trailers, many of them have a manual pull rope to turn on and off, but we actually have an electric valve that you can have a push button in the cab of your tractor to turn the water on and off, which is a really nice feature as well.
And so when a lot of people think electric actuator, thinking something with something larger, longer, that has a long threaded screw in the inside to actually raise or lower the tool, but actuators come in all shapes and sizes, some small enough to just open and close a valve.
Yep. And some are just wireless things in your hand, and some are toggle switches, and it's all in what we're trying to accomplish.
Got it. So now, I'm not an electrician. I don't like messing around with electricity. So what are some just words of wisdom you can give to somebody who says, all right, I'm done with the square jack, I'm ready to upgrade, but you got me a little bit nervous about wiring something to my tow vehicle. Any general tips you can give someone about how to go about this?
You're gonna tie directly back to the battery, because there isn't really a standard wiring plug on ATVs, UTVs, etc., the small tractors. But it's really straightforward. Just red is red, black is black. Pay attention to your colors. Don't wrap around anything that can get caught or get hot or moves. Just think about those things, and we include plenty of zip ties, so use them.
Well, and one thing Nate mentioned when it comes to dialing in the right height. So typically the square jack or screw jack, as some of you call it, the electric actuator, they're used in conjunction with either an axle system or, remember, gauge wheels, right? Remember how we say around here all the time that tires aren't just tires, they're stabilizing wheels, they're gauge wheels. So when it comes to taking an ATV drag, a UTV drag, getting it into transport position, getting the ground engaging components off the ground so you can move around your property, then once you get to your driveway, arena, wherever you're going, dropping it back into place, you want to find that right height, that consistent height. So one thing we always recommend, you're getting like all the customer service secrets right now. You notice how on both of these components, you've got a kind of a silver colored, a stainless interior, and then that black exterior. Grab yourself a paint marker. Grab yourself a Sharpie. It's a great, hey, I didn't plan that, I promise. That's a great way that once you find the depth you want to get to, mark your inner cylinder. That way when you go into transport mode, get back again to your application point, you can find your depth right where you want to be.
I always carry a Sharpie.
That's impressive. Engineers. Good for so many things. That's all we've got on square jacks and electric actuators. If you're not quite sure on what you've got on your attachment or what you need or what works best in your scenario, remember we've got a customer service team, a product specialist team. We've got lots of people around here who really are happy to help. So don't be afraid to give us a call, and please be sure to join us on the dirt next week. Nate Smith from engineering is going to jump back in with us. We're going to talk about top links and hydraulic cylinders functioning as top links and where those two things function on bigger attachments for your bigger tow vehicles, your compact tractors, your subcompact tractors. That's all next week. So if you have not yet, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. See you next time.